Hey everybody, welcome to the Crypto Beach. Today we've got Danielle. She's going to share with us how she got into crypto, why crypto, some tips, some trends and cool projects she's working on. I'm going to give it back to her now. She's going to introduce herself and then, yeah, we're just going to keep it moving.
Awesome. Thank you. Hi, my name is Danielle Petty. Let's see. I am the Chief Operating Officer at Digital Radar. So I've been in marketing for the last 8, 9 years now. And I've been in the NFT space since August. So still relatively new, always learning. But I just had such a passion. I have a passion for marketing and a desire to do something bigger with it. So when finding the crypto and NFT space, it definitely felt like, like I've arrived, I've made it to where I can take the good that I know and be able to apply it to something really great. So, yeah.
Wow, that's super. That makes a lot of sense. Crypto is sometimes a little confusing, especially with the onboarding experience or lack thereof today. But how did you get onboarded into the sort of crypto world?
Gosh, yeah, it really is confusing and it's really hard to know, where to begin and what information you can trust and what's a scam and what's not a scam. So I feel really fortunate that I have a really good friend of mine. His name is Steve. He's also one of my business partners, and he has been very, very in deep with crypto and Bitcoin for probably like the last decade now. So I've definitely heard him talking about it. He introduced me to some different altcoins and some different investment opportunities back in the day. And so about 8 or 9 months ago, got taken on as the director of marketing at Charge Particles. And that really opened the door for me because, I wanted to understand, what he was doing there and what Charge Particles was doing. And to be quite honest, initially it was way over my head. Charge Particles is such an amazing company and they're bringing some serious utility to the space with their platform and their protocol. And I couldn't grasp it at first. I was still hung up on the wait, what do you mean JPEGs? Like, I don't understand. Um,
Yeah.
and he just continued to send me articles and kind of pull me in on conversations. And finally he was like, just set up a Twitter. Here, just set up your Twitter account and follow these people and just see what you think. I think you're really gonna love the community aspect. And he was not wrong. That kind of I like NFT Twitter definitely pulled me in, and I started following, a bunch of influential people in the space and just starting to see how like wag me. That was definitely like a sign I was in the right spot, like we're all gonna make it. I was like, yes, this is exactly where I want to be. So yeah, that's how I got into it.
You touch on something really interesting there around community and the power of the crypto community and Twitter spaces. Um, what do you feel is most compelling about Twitter spaces and how does it compare to some of the other platforms where communities are being hosted from your perspective?
When you're talking about other platforms, can you tell me a little more what you're thinking there? Like a
Yeah,
Clubhouse?
definitely. So as compared to Discord, Clubhouse, Telegram, um, would love to know how you feel about that.
Oh gosh, yeah. Okay, so Twitter, way easier for a beginner, in my opinion, than Discord or even Telegram. I found like for myself on Telegram, and maybe this is just that I didn't have the settings right, but I found myself like open to a bunch of spam messages and a bunch of content that I didn't really care to see. And then
Yeah,
Discord, Discord felt kind of overwhelming. I mean, sometimes it still
yeah,
feels overwhelming. There's so many notifications and so
yeah.
many things like to learn how to do and like the slash commands. I don't know.
Mhm.
So for me personally, I think NFT Twitter is definitely always kind of been the safe space where I feel like I can learn and I can grow and I can also share my experience. we actually had a Twitter space a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about imposter syndrome,
Yeah.
and I feel like so many people jumped in and shared about how they resonated with that, you know? And it's like, I guess that's what I really like about the Twitter space, or the Twitter space, Twitter spaces, is that,
Yeah.
we can really, like, anybody, whether you're new or you're advanced, you can kind of jump in there. You're encouraged to share your experience and be a part of the conversation, which I found
Yeah.
it much easier to build community with.
Yeah. I'd agree. Twitter spaces are very accessible. They're unique at sort of building connections using voice. And
Yeah.
they are safe spaces that are curated in a way to promote like vulnerability. And that is really the gateway to trust and relationship building.
Yeah,
So
no, I agree so much. I feel like I've met some of the coolest people in Twitter spaces, from all over the world, which is hands down one of my favorite things about NFTs today.
I agree 100%. So, if you were to give someone new to the space, let's just say an artist or a collector, 3 tips, what would they be?
Oh man, the very first thing that comes to mind is, be authentic. Uh, it's it's something that I love and I value so much about the community, is that, unlike any other social platform that I've experienced, it's not about the highlight reel. It's not about,
Yeah.
only the good moments. It's just like people appreciate you just being your authentic self, whatever that looks like. So I think that definitely would be my first tip. And my second tip, I guess, would be to remain teachable.
Yeah.
I've learned so much in such a short period of time, and yet I realize, like, we're all still developing this. This is still forming. So, remaining teachable and open to continue to learn new things. And what would be my third tip? Gosh, I guess my third tip would be to put yourself out there. Kind of back to the imposter syndrome, we're all new here. This
Yeah.
is new for everybody. So while it's easy to feel really lost and, like, oh, I don't know as much as somebody else, at the same time, I feel like by putting yourself out there, you're going to help somebody else learn something they didn't know, and it'll continue to push you to grow as well.
Oh man, those are some awesome tips. Thanks so much for that.
Yeah.
So, there are always new applications and use cases emerging in crypto. What's most exciting to you? What trends really jump out at you? And if you have any projects that you're working on, what's where are you applying your energy?
Yeah. Okay. So as far as like trends, I don't know if it's so much of trends, but I guess, one thing that I've seen that's new to this that I've seen as new is this gas optimization that I've been seeing a couple collections be able to pull off so far. Huge shout out to Alpha Girls. I think they were the first collection that I saw successfully optimize the gas, which kind of goes into the collection I've been working on. I feel like really called to help new people get into the space. And one of the biggest hurdles there has been the gas price.
Yeah.
It's one thing to be talking to my cousin and get them to wrap their head around the idea of what an NFT is and why it has value. But when they go to make their first purchase and the gas is $300 and the NFT is 80, it's a really big hurdle, I feel like, for a lot of people to get over. So I feel like that's definitely, I saw them do it, and in the last like 2 weeks, I've seen a couple other collections, say that they successfully did it as well. So
Mm.
I feel like that's one of the newest things that I find really interesting. And then where I've been spending my time, yeah, for the last 6 months, my team and we've been working on bringing the 90s babes to life.
Okay.
So we were born in the 90s. We love all things, I mean, 90s, I feel like is coming really back into style, and for good reason, right? So we're really centered around onboarding more women into the space, and making it something that is more accessible. So, we've got our Women Without Wallets collection that we're going to hold back NFTs that are designed to give to those women who maybe they've been kind of like lurking in the background, but haven't felt able to make that financial commitment, or so on and so forth. We want to empower them to really jump into the space, and plan to give out NFTs to different individuals and help them set up their MetaMask. We really also want to be a source of information for for everybody, but especially for the beginners. It's
Yeah,
you mentioned at the beginning, how did you get into the space? I was lucky
definitely.
because I had
Yeah,
somebody like, hey, hey, hey.
yeah.
Um, but a lot of people don't have that, they still don't even realize the potential that's out there. So our hope with the 90s babes is that, we can be on Pinterest and TikTok and platforms that maybe other brands aren't, so that we can kind of reach a different audience and help them bring some new wallets into the space as well.
That sounds awesome. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
You're giving us a great teaser. Like, when can we expect, you know, while we're on the topic of this project, I think a lot of folks are really curious, about how these projects work operationally. And if you're open to sharing, I think that would be really great, valuable insight.
Yeah, absolutely. I cannot speak for any other collections outside of my
Yeah,
own.
definitely. That's
Um,
cool.
it really started with, like I mentioned, I'm one of the owners in a marketing agency,
Yeah.
and obviously we saw NFTs, we saw what they were doing, right? Like they had a great strategy behind them. They were bringing utility to the space. They did really good marketing to bring awareness and to pull people in, not just, people who are gonna be interested, but people who really want to be like a part of the brand,
Yeah.
which is such a deeper level connection, and from what we've noticed. And so a group of us, decided, hey, like we could do something really impactful. And for a while, we had been looking for something to put our talent towards. And so what it looks like is that there is 7 of us. We've got 6 of us on the marketing side, plus our illustrator. Her name's Erica. She is so talented. And we have been working around the clock. I mean, it really doesn't stop. We obviously have our day jobs that we do, and in between those, we're on phone calls. We're detailing out all of the attributes. When starting this process, something that I didn't realize to be so challenging, that you really got to take some time to think through, is how all of those attributes are going to be in the generative. You obviously don't know what it's going to look like until it mints. So
Yeah.
until it reveals. So it's been really cool to have to, kind of put forward some thought into, what is this going to look like if it matches up with this.
Yeah.
And for the 90s babes, in addition to the Women Without Wallets, we're also, going to be giving back to different women empowerment charities, as well as really wanted to make these 90s babes representative of all things 90s, and bringing back a lot of that 90s nostalgia. So making the attributes list and doing it something that people globally can identify with, not just here in North America, not just in Canada, in Australia, but something that can be globally represented, is something we're really focused on as well.
Oh, that's super cool. That's super cool. When it came to bringing all those attributes together, that can be a very time intensive process. How
Yeah.
did it look for you guys? Is that kind of what was the case as well?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean,
Yeah.
it's been very, I mean, we're still working on finalizing some of the attributes. We're working on pulling in some more advisors, who can help us make sure that our attributes are, representative of all countries, like I had mentioned, and
Yeah.
we've really got a little bit of something in this collection. We hope that everybody can kind of relate to and be like, oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
So, but it's been very time intensive. I feel like I've conducted so much research into the 90s. It's like a blast from the past for
Oh
sure.
wow. It's like a history lesson. All right,
Yeah,
cool.
definitely. Oh my gosh,
All
yes.
right. Okay, well, is that coming? Are you privileged to share when folks can expect to see it, or is that still, kind of, um, just not to be disclosed? I guess is a word.
Yeah, we still have not announced an official date. We are expecting end of January, but we will be announcing an official date hopefully here after the holidays.
That's really exciting. Jumping into 2022 with some
Yes.
fresh 90s fire. Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, we are really excited. I think I can speak for everyone on the team when I say that, this is something that we've all been searching for, and the ability to be able to take what we know, be able to do the market research, set up the website, do everything that like we know how to do, but do it with a greater purpose of being able to empower women, give back to charity. I mean, it's
Yeah,
definitely been the highlight of my year for sure.
awesome. Awesome. I think something that a lot of folks, you're very privileged in that you have access to resources and know how that, kind of might simplify things, albeit it's a new environment to apply those skills. But, it's really great to come in with that toolkit. Um, how do you think about connecting with collectors? Um, you know, for creators who are watching, how do you think about building community and, sort of connecting with your audience?
Yeah. Oh man, that's a good one. I mean, part of it goes back to what we were talking about with the 3 tips, like with the number 1 being be
Yeah.
authentic.
Okay.
From what I've seen, that really it does say a lot about a brand, about a collection, is the project leaders, the people running the project, are they authentic with what they say and what they do? Is it someone you can put your trust in and kind of bet on? Um, but in addition to that, yeah, I mean, continue to put yourself out there. I feel like that's been the number one thing is I'm blessed to have the background and the marketing experience that I do, but honestly, it's been through immersing myself in the community and like continuing to learn and like that's where I've started to feel the most confident and like, yeah, we can really do some good here.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's really great. It's great to have you on.
Yeah, thanks
And
for
have
having
an
me.
opportunity to interview you. I don't know if you have any sort of last minute shout outs that you want to share, or um, if audience members wanted to get in touch with you, kind of sharing kind of that the best avenue to do that, that'd
Yeah,
be great.
absolutely. So my DMs are always open. So if anyone has a question, I really you're looking how to set up your MetaMask, you need more
Yeah.
information, definitely feel free to reach out to me. My Twitter handle is at pettycash777. You can also feel free to follow the 90s babes.
Okay.
We're planning to put out a lot of informational content as well to help newbies get into the space and get set up and
Cool.
really establish themselves.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. I really
Yeah.
love what you guys are doing. I think that, given the times, given what we know about where the NFT kind of marketplace is right now, what you're doing is critical, you know. So yeah,
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been great, and I'm excited to be here and to get to share my experience.
fantastic. All righty. Thanks.
Thanks.